Honorable Men Discord, a mother's sacrifice. Let's talk about it. So a few days ago, there was a news report about an incident that took place on Staten Island. And there was two things that stood out for me when I saw that report. First and foremost, Staten Island is a borough that rarely gets reported on. And I don't know if it's because the crime rate is low in Staten Island, but it's usually the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Harlem that gets reported for violent crimes. And that's actually a good thing. I'm not saying that Staten Island should be frequently in the news for crimes, but it stood out because when I heard it was in Staten Island, I said, oh wow, Staten Island, what's going on over there? The second reason why the report stood out to me is because it involved a stabbing, but when it was first reported, I believe it had said that the stabbing involved an umbrella, which is why there's an umbrella in the thumbnail. But after speaking with a colleague of mine, I'm not even sure what weapon was used. But we'll get into that later because that's honestly not even important. So what happened was, in one of the projects in Staten Island, there was a group of individuals. I don't know if it was all females, but they said it was 24. Wow, so much sun. All right. Hang on a minute. Too much sunlight. So what happened was, in one of the projects in Staten Island, there was a group of individuals. I don't know if it was all females. They said it was about 20. And they were in the courtyard surrounding a girl. Now, the girl's mother, who was 43 years old, came downstairs in her defense. And in the melee, the woman was injured. She was sent to the hospital and she passed away. Now, the person who stabbed her was a 25-year-old female. And as I said, when I first heard this report a few days ago, to my understanding, the woman, the 43-year-old, was stabbed by an umbrella. And as a matter of fact, I remember seeing the police report, and they had a picture. They had zoomed in on the umbrella on the ground. Now, I don't know if that's true because when I looked into the news report last night, they didn't mention the weapon that was used. So I'm kind of confused at this point as to what the weapon was that was used to kill the woman. In any event, the woman was known to be a pillar in the neighborhood. She was well liked. She threw barbecues, and she threw barbecues for the neighborhood. It wasn't like a family barbecue. She made the barbecues solely for the neighborhood to come out, anyone who wanted to stop by, as you'll see in the news report. And I just think it was messed up. She has 4 children. She seems to be a single mother, and to know that she was extending herself beyond her family of 4, it just seems like it could have been avoided. And I don't know exactly what's going on. Fights is common among high school kids, but a 25-year-old, I don't know the ages of the individuals, the 20 individuals, but this falls in line with every single video I seem to be wrapping up with as of late, where we got to do better out there. Because I don't understand how 20 people have to surround one girl. But I'm sure more details will come out on this. But if you haven't seen the news report, this is the news report. So take a look at this.
Meanwhile, the other news of the night, we're going to begin with the most disturbing story on Staten Island, and it ends deadly. A fight breaks out with nearly 24 women outside their apartment building. And during the chaos, a mother coming out of her house to try to stop it, was stabbed. She was well liked. And again, she rushed into the chaos trying to stop all this. She did not survive. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles live at the scene in the West Brighton section trying to come up with some answers here. Darla.
Bill, one of the first things I was told when I arrived here in West Brighton this morning is that you would be hard-pressed to find anyone to say anything negative about Queen. That is how this community knew 43-year-old Janira Roundtree, who died here last night. If you take a look behind me, you can still see that there is a police presence here as the NYPD searches for what led to the fight and the person who stabbed her, because the second thing I was told is that nobody is talking.
Always walking around with a smile, always thinking about, how can we get some money together to barbecue for these kids so they're not in the streets for the summer. Let's hold a barbecue every weekend.
The courtyard at West Brighton Houses is where Janira Roundtree harnessed her own personal resources and devoted countless hours on the grill. Her open-to-all barbecues made her a legend. Sadly, it would be that same safe space she created for everyone else where she would lose her own life to violence.
How did it unfold?
Argument, I don't know about work, but she was being a mom. The mama there.
Tuesday evening, just after 7:30, friends of the 43-year-old mother, who asked not to be identified, tell Eyewitness News that Roundtree rushed downstairs to help after learning one of her 4 children was in the midst of a large crowd of about 20 women engaged in a dispute. They say one NYPD patrol car had already arrived on scene when Roundtree was stabbed.
And by the time the rest of them came, she already had collapsed on the floor.
Was she stabbed while a cop was here on scene?
After the stabbing, witnesses say the entire crowd took off running.
You just sit there and you just let it happen and you don't act. You just left her kids without a mother. You could have done more.
Roundtree was ultimately transported to Richmond University Medical Center, where she died.
This neighborhood was important to her because she wanted different for all the kids coming up, and she was trying to make a difference, and she was.
Now, Roundtree was known as a matriarch, an auntie, and a bestie here in this community. They are planning a vigil for her at some point that is going to be a private vigil with friends and family. I did speak with the family off camera. They are understandably heartbroken, devastated, lots of trauma here. Definitely want to find justice for the person who killed this 43-year-old mother of 4. If you have any information about this incident, please call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. Reporting live in the West Brighton section of Staten Island, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, so in addition to that, I was told by my colleague who said she read about this incident in the newspaper, and she's saying it was said that the woman, the 43-year-old, allegedly came downstairs with a golf club and was attacking whoever was trying to I guess fight her daughter. Again, I don't know how true that is, because in the news report that you just saw, there was no mention of the woman having a weapon. Nothing. There was no mention of any weapon. All they mentioned is that there was a stabbing. Now, I don't know how true it is, but at the same time, it's possible. If the woman may have looked out her window and saw 20 girls or 20 people downstairs, I doubt she would go downstairs with nothing in her hand. That wouldn't have been too smart on her part. But I don't know if that's a fact, so I can't speak on that. But my colleague said that it was said in the paper she came downstairs with a golf club. But the whole thing is unfortunate. They still didn't disclose what was the cause of the argument that turned into a fight. But they were able to capture the girl, the 25-year-old that's responsible for the 43-year-old's death. And this is the news coverage for that. So take a look at this.
A woman has been charged with second-degree murder for the stabbing death of another woman outside a Staten Island apartment building last week. Police say 25-year-old Yasmin Thompson claimed she was acting in self-defense during a fight between a large group of women last Tuesday at a city-run apartment complex in West Bright. Friends of the victim, 43-year-old Janira Roundtree, say she got involved in the fight while trying to defend one of her children, who was also caught up in the brawl.
Now, again, everything I've been saying in my last few videos about making better choices, that 25-year-old is claiming she did it in self-defense, but that's going to be up to her to hire an attorney to help prove that. Because again, if there was 20 girls that were out there or 20 individuals that were out there, you're going to be hard pressed to justify defending yourself if you were part of the 20. I mean, that's how I see it, but we'll see how it plays out. People, better choices need to be made in 2025. Just throwing your lives away. It's the top of the year, and there's other things you could be doing besides getting caught up with the law. But my condolences to the family, to the children of the 43-year-old, and just got to make better choices in 2025. That's all I can say, and I'll keep saying it throughout the year. We got to make better choices. Other than that, I appreciate you for tuning in, and as always, I'm gonna keep coming with that content. Take care.